What's up, everybody? This is Nick Giffen, aka the Rotodoc of Fantasy Labs, and I'm here to talk the Daytona 500 here on the Mayo Media Network. It's going to be an exciting race. I'm going to give you my favorite cash game plays, my favorite tournament plays, a fade, and I'm even going to give you a betting pick for the race. So, Daytona 500, it is coming up on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox in the United States. DraftKings has a $1 million tournament with a $2 million first place prize. So definitely something you're not going to want to miss out on. This is NASCAR's Super Bowl, as they call it, the biggest race of the year, starting in the first regular season race of the year. Denny Hamlin is your two-time defending Daytona 500 champion. He's looking to make it a three-peat, but of course, everybody's here because you want to know what's going to happen in the fantasy land or in the betting land as far as the Daytona 500. So I'm going to get right into my picks. And the Daytona 500 is a little bit of a curious event because of the way that the draft takes place. All of these cars, all 40 of these cars are going to be running in a big pack. And when that happens, you can get a very, very big wreck, multiple car wreck, sometimes 10, 15, even upwards of 20 car wreck. That is called the big one, and it'll take out a large chunk of the field. So what happens then? All the drivers that miss the wreck move forward. And one of the big components of scoring in daily fantasy is something called place differential points. And on DraftKings, you get 1 point for every position you move forward from the start of the race to the end of the race. So if you start 30th place and you finish 20th place, that 30 minus 20 is a 10-point difference. That means you're going to get 10 place differential points, in addition to the points you're getting for finishing position and other points which you can get for fastest laps or laps led. So because all of these drivers are in a big pack and they can pass each other very easily and big wrecks can happen in super speedway racing, which Daytona is one of the two super speedway tracks along with Talladega, that means you very often want to be picking drivers that start from the back because they have a lot of ability to move from the back to the front by the end of the race. So for my cash game play, this is going to be kind of out of left field. I am actually starting the driver who is starting in last place. Yes, 40th place starting position. He is the rookie Grala. He is priced at $4,900 on DraftKings. And, you know, you might not usually hear a cash game play being one of the cheapest guys on the slate instead of, you know, we often very like to think of the more expensive guys, the race favorites. But as far as this particular race, the Daytona 500, Grala is starting dead last. The only place he can move is forward. And the other thing is he's actually a pretty good super speedway racer. Yes, he's a rookie in the Cup Series, but there are two minor league series in auto racing that we also can look at data for. One of those is the Xfinity Series. He finished in the top 5 in both of his Daytona Xfinity Series super speedway races. And in the Truck Series, which is the other minor league series, he won his only start at Daytona in the Truck Series. So he is placed in the top 5 in all 3 of his minor league series races. He's very good at super speedway racing, at least for the series that he's racing. And now we'll see how he does with the big boys, but he should be just fine. He's racing for Colleague Racing, where last year, Justin Haley, who drove for Colleague Racing, finished 13th after starting 33rd. That means 33 minus 13, 20 place differential points for Justin Haley last year. Grala has even more potential this year. He starts 40th. So if he finishes 10th, he could gain 30 place differential points. So starting 40th, nowhere to go but up. One of the cheapest priced drivers on the slate, a very good super speedway racer, and he had the 20th fastest time in qualifying. So we do know he has a car capable of hanging with the main pack. So he shouldn't be falling multiple laps down. And he should be able, as long as he avoids these wrecks, to have a chance of putting up a very big day. And he's not going to hurt you because he's not going to get you negative place differential points. So he has a very high floor. Grala, my cash game play of the week. Moving on to tournaments, obviously, you know, we've got some race favorites like Denny Hamlin starting up in 25th. We've got Martin Truex Jr. starting 26th, Brad Keselowski starting 24th. But I'm actually not looking at those drivers when I look at my tournament pick. I'm looking at a driver, Tyler Reddick. He's $7,100 on DraftKings, and I actually think he's one of the best plays on the slate as far as tournament. That's why I'm giving you as my pick for a couple of reasons. First, we want to look at ownership percentage. At the Daytona 500, where everything is completely unpredictable, even the best statistical models can only get about 10 or 15% accuracy. It's so much easier to project ownership percentage than it is to project actual race finish. So Tyler Reddick, I think, is going to be one of the lower owned good drivers starting in the back half of the field. I mentioned Keselowski, Hamlin, and Truex starting 24 through 26. We also have good drivers starting behind Tyler Reddick, like Eric Jones, Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain. Those drivers will be higher owned just because they're starting further back and have more place differential potential, and they're good. And then Keselowski, Hamlin, and Truex may be higher owned than Reddick because they're big names also starting towards the back, even though they're starting a little bit in front of Reddick. So Tyler Reddick's ownership percentage could be very low. He does have 2 Xfinity wins at super speedway races, including one of those coming at Daytona and 1 Truck Series win at Daytona as well. And last year in the Coke 0400, which is the second Daytona race on the super speedway oval, he took the lead with 9 laps remaining. Now, yes, he did end up causing a big wreck, but we like to see that aggression if we're going for the win there. We're going for a tournament win. Tyler Reddick, my GPP play for the Daytona 500. So what do we do on the flip side here? We talked about these guys starting in the back. We had Tyler Reddick there starting 29th. We had Kaz Grala starting 40th. On the flip side, you want to be avoiding the drivers that are starting in the front, and that definitely starts with the front row. The first 2 drivers in starting position are going to be drivers you're going to want to fade during the Daytona 500, especially the second place driver, William Byron. He's priced at $9,000 on DraftKings. Yes, he did win last year at a super speedway race, at the most recent super speedway race at Talladega, but no second place driver has ever been in the DraftKings winning lineup since 2013, which is the era of the Gen 6 car. NASCAR has different types of cars, and the newest type of car they have started in 2013. So in 96 super speedway races in the Gen 6 era, only 3 times has a driver starting on the front row been in the winning lineup, and none of those came in the Daytona 500. Also, all 3 of those 96 times was it a pole sitter and not a second place driver. And I say 96 super speedway races. Well, actually, it's less than 96, but 96 opportunities because there's 6 drivers in the winning lineup. And so out of 96 possible winning lineup potential positions, only 3 times was driver starting in the front row. All 3 times were pole sitters, not the second place driver. William Byron starts second. He also crashed in his qualifying race, so he will actually, despite starting officially for official scoring, starting in the second place starting position, he'll drop to the tail end of the field at the very start of the race. So essentially he'll be starting with negative 38 place differential points. He's got to come all the way through the field. The only way he's going to get positive place differential points is if he wins the race, right? If he finishes second, he'll get 0 place differential points. If he finishes first, he'll win the race, he'll get 1 place differential point. So there's just not enough upside there for a driver that is going to the rear of the field in a race where anybody can, almost essentially anybody can win. William Byron, my fade of the week at $9,000 on DraftKings. Let's talk a little bit of betting. My favorite outright bet. I have 2, but I'm going to give you my favorite long shot. I do like betting medium and longer shots at Daytona because they can win. And my favorite, kind of medium long shot bet here is Eric Jones. He is 60-1 on DraftKings to win the race. He actually won at Daytona in 2018, the summer version of the race, which is called the Coke Zero, then was called the Coke Zero Sugar 400. So he won that Daytona summer race in 2018. Last year on the Daytona Super Speedway, he won the Busch Clash, which was on the Super Speedway oval. So he's won twice at Daytona in super speedway racing. He also placed 3rd in the 2019 Daytona 500. He placed 2nd in the most recent super speedway race at Talladega at the end of the 2020 season. And if you take away his rookie year where he was kind of learning the ropes, I guess, in super speedway racing at the cup level, he has 3 top 3s in 12 races. And even if you do include them, he has 3 top 3s in 16 races. So that's a very good percentage. I also like betting him at 14-1 for a top 3 finish. So 60-1 on DraftKings to win, 14-1 for a top 3 finish. The reason he's at such a discount is because he used to drive for Joe Gibbs Racing, one of the premier teams in the Cup Series. Now, he's no longer in a ride at Joe Gibbs Racing. He's at Richard Petty Motorsports. However, Bubba Wallace used to be the driver for Richard Petty Motorsports, and Bubba Wallace actually led at super speedway races 4 separate times in his career, including finishing in the top 5 twice. And he ran on the top 3 at some point during the race in every single super speedway race that he raced in for Richard Petty Motorsports except one. So that car is capable of being in the front. So Eric Jones, great bet, 60-1 to win outright on DraftKings, 14-1 for a top 3 finish. That is going to do it. Leave a comment. Who do you think is going to win the Daytona 500? Who's your favorite bet? What DraftKings plays, what fantasy plays do you like for Sunday's race? It's going to be a good one. I'm Nick Giffen for Fantasy Labs. Make sure to check me out at fantasylabs.com. I will be doing projections all year for NASCAR Cup Series, and I'll be getting into the Xfinity and Truck Series doing my projections as well. So thank you for checking that out, and I will catch you next time. Enjoy the Daytona 500, everybody.